Good morning, friends. I'm out here at the Wildcat Bluff Nature Center. I believe it's around 600 acres or something of the sort, 650 or something. But there's a bunch of trails to hike on. There's a front little area with some paved trails that's wheelchair accessible. There's a fun sandbox with some dinosaur bones that kids can dig up, and that's where my daughter's at right now, digging in the sand. We just finished a nice little hike. It's a beautiful morning, no wind, which is an anomaly for the Texas Panhandle. But I just wanted to share something with you guys that today, living in this digital age where we have this inundation with technology and screens, and I think this is even more pronounced now with since COVID 2 years ago. And we have to do everything on Zoom. We have to be on screens all the time. Our kids are constantly on screens. That's one thing that we try to work with our daughter on, is not being on screens very much. She watches TV like once a week and watches a few little snippets here and there on my phone with me. But outside of that, I've seen kids on screens all the time, parents on screens all the time. And being out in nature is one of the most beneficial things that we can do to balance our screen time with time outdoors. And as parents in this digital age, that's important for you to establish as a rule and as a precedent in your home with your children, but even for yourselves, for ourselves, for myself. I'm guilty of it too, that we need to balance our time on screens with time outdoors. The EPA did a study and said that people spend 93% of their time, 93% of their lives indoors. And so that means only 7% of our life is spent outdoors. I believe the numbers were 87% in buildings and like 6% in cars or something along there. I can post the exact numbers later, but these are that's a huge impact on our bodies, and especially as we sit in front of the screen, it actually begins to activate our sympathetic nervous system. I want you to think like your fight or flight nervous system, getting that anxiety and that adrenaline going, because when we're just staring at a screen, we're not really using our peripheral vision. We're just staring at that screen. We get locked in, and so it can bring this increase in anxiety. It can bring this increase in like unsettledness because it's activating that sympathetic nervous system. And when we are outdoors and we have that stimulus from outdoor activities, it actually activates our parasympathetic nervous system, and it brings about this relaxation in our body. So our sympathetic nervous system activates like that fight or flight, and the parasympathetic relaxes our body and just kind of brings us into a state of calm. Another important reason to be out in nature and out in sunshine and to balance screen time with outdoor time is that being in the sunshine actually activates some of our gut microbiome. The only way it gets activated is through sunshine and being outside, and so that's important. And when we're playing in the dirt, when we're gardening, one thing that I found interesting, I just finished the book Ikigai, I believe is how you say it. It's a little blue book about studying the people in Japan who have the longest, the most centenarians and super centenarians, people 100 and 110 or more years old. And so they studied them, and one of the things that they found is that everyone that they interviewed had a vegetable garden that they worked in every day. But when we work in the dirt, and especially in healthy dirt that's not full of pesticides and chemicals, is that it actually helps our gut microbiome because we're absorbing it through our skin, we're getting it under our fingernails. And so it's great to be outside in the dirt, in the sunshine for that purpose. They did a meta-analysis of 10 different studies, and they found that getting outside and just moving a little, for as little as 5 minutes at a time, improved mood and self-esteem. So when we sit in front of these screens for extended periods of time, for 3, 4, 5, 6 hours a day, we're spending so much time in this sympathetic nervous system activation. But when we get outside, when we get in nature, it helps to relax us. It helps to improve our self-esteem. It improves our mood, because much of our hormone our endocrine system and our hormones are activated and regulated by time outdoors. I love this quote by Ralph Waldo Emerson. His name is kind of a mouthful. He says, "Adopt the pace of nature. Her secret is patience." Sometimes when we get a full schedule of activities on the screen and watching TV and just being on social media for hours and hours on end, it can wreck us. We feel more exhausted doing that than when we've been out and we go do something outside all day. And it's for that reason, because we've activated that sympathetic nervous system sitting in front of the screens all day, instead of getting out and bringing that down and regulating that system by activating our parasympathetic nervous system. So that's just something I want you to think about, take with you, begin to implement it with your parenting, with your kids. Make sure that they're not just sitting in front of the screen. The statistics of how much time kids and even adults are spending in front of a screen today is just astronomical, and I'll share that at another time. But that's what I want you to have this takeaway. Balance your indoor time, your screen time, your technology time with time outdoors with no screens. I know it's kind of an oxymoron, kind of a contradiction, because I'm on my screen outdoors. I get it, okay? But that's the only way to communicate it. Come on, work with me, people. Anyways, I love you guys. I hope you have a great day. Get outside, enjoy the beautiful weather, whether it's cold, whether it's hot, doesn't matter. Enjoy your time outside for as little as 5 minutes at a time. Can help boost your self-esteem and your mood. All right, guys, I love you. I hope you have a great day. Have a great week. And I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.